is Marko Koncina. I'm the founder of Swiss Watch Gang, a platform which supports independent watch brands since 2016. And also I do the creative photography for the page since the beginning, and I love it. So the reason I love watches is actually, it goes back to 2010 when I discovered watches, when my grandma showed me her watch. I fell in love with it. Then I decided to become a watchmaker. I left university and I moved to Switzerland, where I pursued watches in a different way. I became a photographer and I started my blog. And then I'm very involved in the watchmaking industry every day basically. We manage social media accounts with my marketing agency. We do photography work for others. I opened a YouTube channel in August, and I just love watches. I love mechanics. The more mechanical it is, the more I love it. So the reason I didn't become a watchmaker is because the type of personality I am, I think too nervous to be a watchmaker. I have not an engineer's mind. Mathematics, I'm good at it, but not good enough to be that. I'm more of an extroverted person who loves talking to people, discovering brands, traveling, envisioning what a brand could achieve. But also the wish of becoming a watchmaker helped me because I understand watches more than your average, let's say, marketing person. And as a collector, I just love diving into the movements. And I'm just not that person as a watchmaker. I couldn't be one. So on a daily basis, I manage my team, which manages a few social media accounts. I do photography every day because I want to get better at it. So if I see a photo I like, I try to recreate it. I also talk to my clients, I visit them. I spend 1 hour per day probably on Chrono 24 because I'm also a collector and I try to see which watches I could buy soon or next year, or I daydream about how to basically grow my companies and help people achieve more, get more customers. Over the last 5 to 10 years, let's say, I started being interested in this 10 years ago. So I'm, let's say, a novice for sure. I would say the affordability of watches is become a bigger component of it. So big complications sometimes get, let's say, more affordable, which is good for, I think, the consumer, but not so good for some brands who priced it very high, 10 years ago. Like the Tourbillon, for example, became very affordable in the last, I think, 5 years, maybe 6 years. I think much more micro brands started to come up, which I really love myself, focusing on dials and different materials like that. I think just also through social media and this digitalization, the consumers are more smarter. So brands can't, let's say, bullshit their way into, selling a product which isn't up to par, because you can Google basically who made this movement and you can find it with a few searches, which I like as a consumer.